Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Small green day for me, fourth in a row. Feeling good there. Today I made about 22 bucks, which is like 0.8% on the day. Nothing major, but keeping the green streak alive. I went 2 for 3 on my trades this morning. I went from red to just barely red to small green for the day. So feeling good there. The first move I went red on, I already know what I did wrong. I bought too high. I didn't wait for a pullback. The second move, which was on the same ticker just shortly after I made my first entry, was where I should have waited for the proper entry. That's just how it goes sometimes when you break your own rules. So made it up, small green for the day, and hopefully I can flirt with the idea of having a fully green week. That'd be really cool. So this is where I made my first and second move on Wednesday morning. Ticker PRTG. This is a 15-second chart. I made my initial entry near the top of this candle here. We had a nice rip going, squeezing really hard, and I didn't want to miss out on a big move, so I went ahead and made an entry instead of waiting for an appropriate pullback. I got filled around 8:15. It shot up to like 8:45 or 8:50 or so here, and then it settled back down right around the $8 mark. I think this closed to like 8:05. The next candle from the opening on this candle went straight back up to 8:50. What I was really looking for here was a big squeeze through $9 or so. It had already climbed quite a bit, and there was a quite a bit of volume here, so I thought we were gonna blow through 850 and hit 880 or $9 or so, so I didn't sell. And then just as quick as we flashed 850, we started coming back down. Once we broke through the $8 mark, I sold, and this candle ended up settling and closing right in like the 770 mark. The next candle, as soon as it opened, it dipped just a few cents and then started ripping up. I bought in right away, and I sold pretty quickly. Right after we broke the $8 mark, I got in at like 765 here, I think, and we broke the $8 mark on this next candle here, and I went ahead and sold. I didn't want to risk flirting with 850 and then rejecting again. Had I held longer here, clearly it goes all the way up to 932, so that would have been a good time for me to hold, but we have already rejected off of 850 on these previous two candles, so I knew getting past 820, 830 was going to be a nice bit of profit. That made up for almost the entire loss on this poor entry here. So at this point, I had used 2/3 of my account, and I was only red about $8, I think. Nothing major. I made up for my mistake, and life goes on. This is where I made my third and final move Wednesday morning. The ticker SONM, and this is a 15-second chart. We had met resistance several times at the 145 mark here, and we finally broke it. Once we broke it, there was a gigantic seller at the 150 mark, which is right here. Broke through that level and then kind of consolidated for a candle or two. Once we broke the high of this red candle, I made an entry right here. This is about the 148, 150 cent mark. Unfortunately for me, I had too many shares in my order versus the amount of settled cash I had. This was my final move of the day, so I didn't have any wiggle room there. So I had to adjust the amount of shares I was trying to get in, which led to several seconds worth of delay. At that point, I needed to wait for another appropriate entry. Where I ended up getting in was right here, boom, this big green candle. When it initially formed, we kind of dipped down below this previous candle, and then it just roared from there. Once I saw that momentum continuing, I went ahead and clicked the buy. I got filled in the mid 160s, thinking that we're at least going to see 175. We ended up seeing 175 a couple different times. This one kind of topped off and then settled down. And then once it seemed like it was going to make me nervous, I went ahead and made an exit on this next candle. I was hoping we'd kind of hold steady, maybe consolidate, and then go to 2. It kind of, in a weird way, ended up happening all the way up to 185, but I took my profit and got out here on this red kind of topping tail dojis where I ended up getting out. Once we flashed to the 174, 175 area, I sold, and I filled right at the top of that candle. So that was a really solid exit for me. It would have been really nice if I would have adjusted my shares appropriately to get in down here in the 148, 150 mark. That would have been a really nice swing. But either way, got green and got out. Life is good. Finishing the day green because of this. Just a good way to end Wednesday morning.